Greetings, it is I, Crimson, and I am back from my very long hiatus with a small video for you. I am not planning on making a return just yet. I still have a very busy life going on right now, but while I have been gone, I have been playing Elder Scrolls. Of course, I always play Elder Scrolls, and I decided to take a look at some of the older games in the series while I've been gone. And one of the games that I decided to check out is Elder Scrolls Arena. And if you're like me, you can forgive the game for its archaic graphics, but you cannot forgive the game for its archaic control scheme. And so what I plan on helping to show all of you is how to re-hotkey everything in Arena, because it is something that I have not been able to see a proper guide for on the internet when I went to look for it, but I have now discovered how to do it. And it is a very difficult concept to grasp and explain, but once you understand it, it's not so bad. So if you're interested in getting Arena and you do not have the game, a good thing to do is to go to uesp.net, and on this site there is going to be a download for both Arena and Daggerfall, and you can pick up those games completely free, and they're going to be running on the Dosbox. The Dosbox is just an emulator that plays old DOS games, and I would definitely recommend giving some of the older games in the series a shot, because they still have a lot of depth to them, even though they may not look as pretty compared to today's standards. So what I have open right here is the Arena controls, and I'm going to be having that off to the side to use as a reference throughout the video. Also, I just wanted to have a little shout out to Imperial Knowledge and M. Christopher. They helped inspire me to make this video, and Imperial Knowledge has some really good videos of his own, so I would recommend checking those out if you ever get the chance. And so let's get in on this little mini tutorial. So right now I am in the Fortress of Ice within Skyrim, and the reason that I am here is because there is a riddle door in front of me. So when I go up to the riddle door, it will tell me a riddle, and I can answer it. And if you do not have your hotkeys up properly, then you will not be able to answer this riddle. So hopefully I can walk you through this step so that you will not be too confused on what to do. So in order to get to this screen, you press Ctrl F1. You just have to be in game, press Ctrl F1, and it will open up the Dosbox control scheme. And what you want to do here is, let's say that you have two buttons that you want to switch the controls for. What I'm going to be doing right now is I'm going to be doing the controls for the T button on the keyboard and the control for the R button on the keyboard. I want to switch those around. So when I press R, I actually want it to do the T command. And when I press T, I want it to do the R command. I'm basically just swapping their places. So if I were to just exit and not save any changes or do anything, the default for R is to rest. If you played some of the newer games in the series, they switched that over to T. And so now I'm going to be trying to get T to rest. So first step is to delete the bind. So there's an event key and then a bind. So you're going to delete that, and it will get rid of the bind, but you'll never be able to get rid of the event. It will always perform the event for that button. You want to do the same for this. So now these won't do anything. So if I go back into game and I save those changes and I press the R button or the T button, they do absolutely nothing because I deleted the bind off of it. So if I open that back up again, and let's say that when I press the button T, I want it to perform the event R. So the event rest, because that's what it basically is, it's not just key R, it's the event rest. I want it to happen when I press T. So now the event rest is binded to key T. and then I save that, and I exit out. So now, when I press the T button, I will now rest. And R, I haven't done anything to, and now when I press it, it still doesn't do anything. We want to change that, and the reason that we want to change that is, let's say that we go up to this door, and they ask me this question. This is a little bit of a spoiler, but the answer is air or wind. You can use either of those. And if you have redone your hotkeys, when you go and press the button T, it's going to do R instead. And if you didn't change your R button, it's not going to do anything. And you don't want that. So I'm going to back off of that door. So now I'm going to have the T button. So now when I press down R, it will do event key T. And so now whenever I were to type in using the R button, it will produce a T instead. I hope I'm explaining this decent enough, because as I said before, it's a bit of a difficult concept to comprehend. And so now that we swapped around these two keys, we're going to be wanting to do that exact same thing with WSAD and the arrow keys. By default, the arrow keys are what you use to move around in game, and WASA and D are random hotkeys that are basically worthless. So we're going to do the exact same thing that we just did with R and T. We're going to delete the binds on A, S, W, and D, and we're going to delete the binds on key left, down, up, and right. So now WSAD and the arrows will do nothing. Then the event move forward, that's basically what the event is. If you press down the up button on your keyboard, it would do the move forward event. We want that to be on button W. And we want this, the down to be S, left to be A, and right to be D. And if I save that and go out, my WASD are now movement. Alright, there we go. That's exactly what we want to see. But the problem is let's say that I walked up to the door. I no longer would be able to do WASD for input when I am answering a question in dialogue, because I just deleted the hotkeys off of WSA and D and replaced it with the arrow keys. So what you want to do is go to WSA and D and do the exact same thing, except you want to bind it to the arrow keys. So add event, key up, S will be key down, A will be key left, and D will be key right. So there we go. Now we've got the basic commands down. So if you wanted to play this game, the arrow controls, the left arrow is now going to draw your weapon out. It's going to unsheath it. The down arrow key is going to show you your status. And then up arrow and right button are just going to be for W and D, but they don't do anything. Now, you could go on and play the game through like this, but I still have some other keys that I want to change, and this is where it's going to get a little bit more difficult, because I want to change the button J, that is default jump, the L button, which is by default your journal, and the space button, which by default does nothing. And we're basically going to be changing all of those around. So I'm going to open up this screen once again, and then I want to erase the keybinds off of J, L, and space. And so now what I want it to do instead, when I press the J button, or when I want event J to be triggered when I press the space button. I want the event log, or the journal event, to happen when I press the J button. and I want the space button to take care of the only one that we do not have on the keyboard right now, which is the L button. Save that. So your J should be key space, your L should be key J, and your space should be key L. And if we exit there, we now have WASD and spacebar to jump. So I hope you all have enjoyed the tutorial. If I didn't clarify on something, please ask me and I will do my best to assist you. And have a great day.